Quran connector. Actually, I'll go back. Go ahead. One of you just go ahead and start. The Quran person.
Bismillah. So what came in my mind is the ayah of فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك فاعف عنهم واصفح فاعف عنهم واغفر لهم فاعف عنهم واستغفر لهم الله إن الله كان غفورا رحيما. وشاورهم في الأمر فإذا عزمت فتوكل على الله إن الله يحب المتوكلين. خير. So yeah, that's the ayah that came in my mind. Wanted me to share one ayah, right, sister?
Yes, Jazakallahu khairan. You did it. Barakallahu fiki. Next Quran, I think we had 3.
Yes. So I have two ayahs connecting to what we do. So the first one is كما أرسلنا فيكم رسولا منكم يتلو عليكم آياتنا ويزكيكم ويعلمكم الكتاب والحكمة ويعلمكم ما لم تكونوا تعلمون, which is just as we have sent among you a messenger from ourselves, reciting to you our verses, which is of the Quran, and purifying you and teaching you the book of the Quran and the hikmah, which is Sunnah, Islamic laws, and teaching you that which you used to not know. So I think we can take from this ayah of what Allah has sent Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ to teach us, and we can take some of those and teach it to the students. And the other ayah is إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون, which is Allah enjoins the doing of justice and the doing of good to others and the giving, and He forbids evil. So also we can take that to teach and learn that Allah enjoins the doing of justice and doing of good to others, and we of course encourage the kids to do the same.
Jazakallahu khairan.
Yeah.
Sister Hadid, how many Quran people did we have? 3?
We have Brother Jamal. If you're ready for us, Brother Jamal.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this presentation. So, mashallah, we have a lot of ayahs in Quran about ilm. But I picked the ayah إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم. This is regarding to the group agreements, so they can like behave and deal with each other like إخوة, like brothers. So I think this ayah, they can, if they understand all Muslim, they are brothers. So إنما المؤمنون إخوة, I think they can behave and like treat each other like إخوة, brothers. And thank you.
Jazakallahu khairan.
Thank you, sir.
Our Hadith?
Hadith, yes, I will start with Assalamu alaikum. I have 2 hadiths, inshallah. The first one is
Just
an
one,
Abi.
because we have a lot of people. If you
Okay,
could
no
just pick your favorite.
mashallah, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna take inshallah عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا مات الإنسان انقطع عمله إلا من 3: صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. For علم ينتفع به like inshallah we work for our dunya and akhirah, like you guys, you organize this workshop and you gave us knowledge and we give it to our student and we use it for our student, inshallah, and this will be inshallah working for us even after our death, inshallah.
Jazakallahu khairan.
Yes, yeah, I can go next, inshallah. The hadith. Abu Huraira Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu reported, the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, whoever travels a path in search of knowledge, Allah will make easy for him a path to paradise. People do not gather in the house of Allah, reciting the book of Allah and studying it together, but that tranquility will descend upon them. Mercy will cover them, angels will surround them, and Allah will mention them to those near him. Collected from Sahih Muslim, Sahihan.
Jazakallah khairan. And we have one more hadith person.
عليكم. I chose a hadith عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: سيأتيكم أقوام يطلبون العلم فإذا رأيتموهم فقولوا لهم مرحبا مرحبا بوصية رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأقنوهم. قلت ما أقنوهم؟ قال علموهم. I love this hadith because I see as a student today seeking ilm. May Allah reward you. You welcomed us in a very beautiful way. And also as a teacher for little kids, yani I am doing wasiyat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So every time you remember you doing this to connect with Allah, then Sayyidina Muhammad, you renew your intention and the day goes easy, subhanallah. May Allah accept all of us.
Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbi, jazakallah khairan.
وإياكم.
That's it for the Quran and Hadith people, right?
Yes, Sister Salon, can I say the meaning of the first ayah that Isra said?
Yes, please. تفضل.
Yeah, the ayah she said, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. So this ayah is talking to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, so by mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad, you were lenient with them. And if you had been rude, then and harsh, they would have disbanded from about you. So pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult them in the matter. And when you have decided, then rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah loves those who rely on him. It's a beautiful ayah, mashallah. Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khairan. If you can hold on to that, also that ayah in Arabic and English when we talk about tone and remind us of it, I would appreciate it. Jazakallah khairan.
Inshallah.
Okay. So I'm just going to take this moment of beauty and we will do the other jobs, but if you can just take a deep breath in, take a deep breath. And go ahead and renew your intention. Now you have some data, right? You have some ayat, you have some hadith. So just take some of those and renew your intention for being here. Take a deep breath in. Verbalize your intention to yourself. Exhale. Bring your mind to where your body is. Okay, jazakallah khairan. All right, our aha moment, people. When did that light bulb go off?
Yeah, for me, let me start. Yeah, for me,
Can you raise your
actually,
voice just a little bit, please?
I like so much when you say, yeah, sure. Yeah, my aha moment was when you talk about it. Actually, because I'm teaching the middle schoolers, actually some ideas began, like as you said for them, they said, "Oh, that's so boring," or "We are very old for that." So I like the one you said about the poster board. Everyone should sign it for the group agreements and classroom agreements. So everybody will be will say okay about that, and I will sign it. And also about the jobs, to give everybody a job. So kids want job, and this thing will build equity and unity in the classroom. And I like also the examples for the jobs. That was so helpful. Thank you. Jazakallahu khairan.
So for me, the aha moment was that de-stressing. So I think a lot of students come in and they're not like properly. So to de-stress when you see this class is not going the way it is. So do it as a class activity and then everyone is on the same page. So that was one moment for me. And the other one was like, since I'm teaching middle school, I think one thing that I kept it for myself is like toss the ball, because a lot of boys like that. So toss ball and toss negativity out. So it can be like a small activity where everyone can like take a few minutes and take out that negativity out and make yourself in a positive, so the rest of the class goes in a more positive way.
Jazakallahu khairan. Okay, our wish well manager, our wish well collector. Do you have any?
Yes, I have.
I just read them off as they were sent to you.
Okay, I got only one request, and one is from me. Sister Ghania requested a dua for her son to be granted shifa by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may he feel better. And for myself, I am going to be in a new role, so I just want everyone's dua to make the new role easy for me, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so when we do wish wells, especially with children, right? Before they do it, right? Because we want to make sure that we're in the right state and that we're in the right state of mind. Okay, so I tell the kids, of course, take a deep breath in, and that helps just to align. And also think of something that brings you joy, something that brings you personal joy. So that brings that positive energy. And we know that this works, and I don't know the hadith, but I know that there is one, right? Subhanallah, my brain stopped. But anyway, our energy goes out to other people. And you know that because there are people that as soon as you meet them, you feel so comfortable. And there's so people that act so nicely and do everything correctly, but you're just like, no, you don't like, you don't feel comfortable. And kids do that, right? There are some babies that love certain people and some babies that just cry as soon as you look at them. So that positive energy, and even scientifically, the aura that's around you and the whole magnetic field. So take a deep breath, think of something positive, and then make dua for the two people that asked for it. Add a dua for yourself if you need. Okay, bring your mind to where your body is. And we're done. Here we go. All right, are we good? Are you in? Focused? Yes? Energized?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if this works. Here we go. How many of you feel like this? Wait a minute. Now watch. The problem is gone. Did the problem stop? Did they stop whining?
No.
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 We didn't teach them anything. We just tried to get rid of the problem, the whining, the noise, the bad behavior. We sent the child out of the classroom. We called in the principal. We've written a letter to the mom. We've done everything we know, but that child is still annoying us. They're still making noise. They're still hitting. What have we not done?
The solution?
Didn't listen to them.
Okay, we didn't
I'm
listen,
sorry.
but what else did we not do?
We didn't try. Sorry.
We didn't talk to them.
We didn't give them skills. We didn't give them skills. We didn't tell them what to do. We just told them what not to do. Does that make sense? Sorry, can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So, out of respect for my children, but one of them, he went through this stage, right, where and my kids grew up in Saudi and I didn't. So there's a lot of culture, like I grew up here, not in the Arab world. So all of the cuss words and all of the bad phrases, I didn't know. I had no idea, right? And even the cultural nuances and things like that, I was not familiar with. So my kid, not my kids, one of my children, he would say these horrible things, right? And get in trouble for them. And all we would do would say, oh my God, you can't say that. How can you do that? You're well raised. Da, 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 da. Maybe 10 years later, by the time I had number 5 and number 6, I was like, and after I learned this, I didn't tell them what to do. So we can say, stop, 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 stop. But unless we give children and ourselves an alternative behavior or another set of skills, then we're not changing anything, right? That poor penguin mom or dad or whatever teacher got rid of the problem and hoping the other kids would learn, right? Hoping the other kids would notice that, you know, if you whine or if you make noise, then you're going to be kicked out or you're going to get eaten by a shark or whatever. But they started doing the same thing again because they didn't know what else to do. So now that as we shift into discipline, and what does discipline mean? We're going to talk about alternatives to when things aren't going right, and maybe adding to things that are going well. So what does discipline mean to you? And this was a question that I asked in the survey. Does discipline mean giving prizes and stickers, toys, more advantages, more recess time? Does discipline mean to us taking things away? You know, back in the day, and even here, right, or everywhere, kids would have to stand and face the corner. Kids would be kicked out. So does discipline mean to you giving rewards or punishment?
Reward.
I think
How
not.
about why don't you guys put it in the chat box?
Oh.
That way we can get a survey of how many. I'm sorry. Okay, while you're putting it in there, go ahead and go. Oops, sorry. Okay, here we go. So discipline, most people believe, or many people believe, I won't say most, that's not fair. Most people believe that discipline is something that we do to children. I'm going to make you behave. I'm going to tell you how to function in society, right? But the person who is truly disciplined is something that when they have it intrinsically, somebody that is disciplined within themselves. And that's what we want to work towards. Okay. There are two different philosophies of discipline are. One is that fear-based discipline, right? Fear of punishment. You're going to go to your room. I'm going to take away the iPad. This is not okay. Okay. Or the fear, or you're not going to go out with us. I had a friend who lacked a lot of skills. And one of the things that she would do was she would tell her daughter, she would say, I'm going to send you to Egypt. That was her punishment. I'm going to send you to Egypt to go to a public school. I mean, that was like the ultimate punishment for her. Okay. Fear of loss of love. Okay. Mama's not going to be happy with you if you do that. Do you think auntie's going to think that you're a good boy or a good girl if you do that? What is your teacher going to say? Okay. So fear of loss of love. Fear of failure. How are you going to be successful in life? How are you going to college? How are you going to pass your test? You're going to be a garbage man. You're going to be a garbage lady. You're going to, right? Fear of failure or fear of abandonment. I'm going to just leave you here. You're not going to have any friends. Okay. Have we heard these statements before? Yeah. Either to us or other people saying it to others?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a negative approach, maybe.
So it's a negative approach, and it does a couple of things. It teaches, we are teaching children how to talk, and we are teaching others how to talk. Okay, so let me just give you a very simple example. When you're in a room with a group of people, right, you tend to build on that energy, or you shut down. So if there's a lot of negativity going on, right, you tend to become negative, or if you're a little bit stronger, you just shut down, right? And if you're stronger, you move away. But all of that information, all of those words go into you. So how we speak affects how our children think about themselves. So you will notice that they will say that to their friends. I'm not going to be your friend if you don't do this. I'm not going to be no, the teacher's not going to like you. Mama's going to be mad at you. Baba's going to be really upset if you do this. Right? So that's what we're teaching. And what happens is as they get older, right? Or as they get stronger, either they will shut down like this boy here. They'll just shut down and let anybody do anything to them, or they will not care. And what that teaches is lack of respect for authority, lack of respect for rules. Okay. And then there is the other type, right? Where we rely on external behaviors, external controls. So how many of you guys have heard this one? So what are you going to give me if I do it? So if I do my homework, are you going to give me a sticker? If I clean up the kitchen, how much are you going to give me?
Yeah.
Or, so what are you going to do about it? Like, so what? I didn't do my homework. So what? I don't want to listen. My mom doesn't care. My mom says she's paying you anyway, so I have to be here. I'm in the classroom. Or at home, I don't care. Spank me. Right? They build a resistance to it. Or they've heard.
Or I'll do it if you give me this or if you give me that.
Yep. And then you up the ante, right? So, you know, at first they did dishes for $5 and now things are a little bit more expensive. So it's $20. Or you start to negotiate with the iPad. Okay, I will get, if I do this, if I do my homework, then you have to give me 10 minutes of iPad. Okay. Or we'll talk about this a little bit later, but the whole negotiation, right? So children who rely on external controls to govern their behavior. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me if I'm bad? Like, I don't want to go with you anyway. I don't care. I don't want to travel. So we're teaching. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. You can continue.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay. So whether we are giving or taking away, it's the same thing, right? We're not teaching new skills. Okay. What does this lead to? It leads to 3 different philosophies. Okay. I can make others change. Okay. So if I give you something or I take away something, then you're going to change. Okay. How many of you have been, and you know, kind of think about this, in a work environment or in a relationship? Okay. And let's start with the work environment. And you really do not like it. And they say, okay, I will raise your salary. Okay. And then you refuse. And they're like, why? But you're getting paid more than anybody else. Or they take a, you know, are more flexible with your time. But the environment that you're in, you're just not happy. And then people get frustrated with you, right? So when we develop, are raised with these types of disciplines, then we feel like we can make others change. How many of you think that if you, I can't think of an example, but like if somebody vapes or somebody smokes or somebody, does shisha, right? Or whatever, that if you just give them enough ayat or give them enough hadith, that you're going to make them change. Or I'll use a female example, right? If we take away all the sweets from the house, we're going to make sure that the kids don't eat sweets anymore and that they lose weight. Or if I give them enough punishment, then they're going to get straight A's. Okay? So we learn that we can make others change. The other thing is rules govern behavior. Okay? And so what does that mean? That means that if it says 70, you're going to go 70. Sure. Right. Okay. And the other thing that it teaches us is that conflict is bad. Okay. I'm going to turn off the camera I'm going to turn off the screen for just a second. So give me a show of hands. How many of you really hate dealing with conflict, that you would rather just have a peaceful time, let it go, and not engage in conflict? Right. What do we hear? Yeah, Sheikha, it's not a big deal, right? Skuti khalas, just be quiet. Let it go. You know how old people are, right? So what does that teach our kids? What
To
do we
let go.
teach kids? Go ahead.
To let go.
Okay.
Sometimes they need to face those conflicts. I don't think it's right, but sometimes if it's a small problem, sometimes letting go and not focusing on the small details can have them like not worry and just be more self-confident, especially if it's somebody's like talking about them or pointing out things or like those bullying words.
Okay. Can I pick on you? I know you don't know me. I was only going to pick on Hadil and I'm sorry, I'm not going to pick on you. I'm going to pick on Hadil. I'm going to pretend that Hadil said what you said.
You can do it. I'm the type of person that honestly, I let it go. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Well, no. I just want to bring a real life example. So, come on, it slipped my brain. Okay, so Hadil is my Quran teacher, so I still have to be very careful. So,
What's out?
yeah, right. So, let's say Hadil, I come to your house, and I'm like, you know what? I've been with you for 3 years, which I haven't, and this is absolutely not true. I'm just making up something, and I'm still making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Really, I don't know what kind of Quran teacher you are. So if I said that to her, what would be a typical response from another sister sitting next to her? Or let's say she complains, I think Sister Fadia is here too, right? Let's say she complains to Sister Fadia and says, you know, Tidwan, she's such an American, right? She's always complaining. And I work with her and I give her extra time, which she does, wallahi. And just because she can't figure it out, she's blaming me. So if I'm just going to go ahead and finish the story. So if let's say her teacher says, Hadil, you have so many other students that are doing so well. Just let it go. Don't worry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to samah. How would she feel? Be real. How would she feel?
That she wasn't heard.
Okay. Trying to figure out who said that, but yes, okay, so she wasn't heard. What else?
Yeah, in some point she doesn't hurt what she said, but at the same time her confidence level is little like, low, because she think like she is not able to reach such, such a good point, like, everywhere some other persons are perfect, whatever the teacher is teaching. So she's not able to reach that point. So confidence level is a little bit like low.
I agree. She would feel like she's doing something not good enough.
Yes.
Her motivation also.
Okay. Or she should just hate me and give me to another teacher, right? I don't want this rude student, right?
Yeah, it's depend upon
why is she learning
the
Quran
student.
anyway? Sorry, go
It's
ahead.
depend upon students, like, way or nature or how she's taking that thing. Some students really want to do work with the teachers and try to reach that point. Some students want sympathy or mercy and just let it go. And okay, I'm fine at that point. I already learned this thing. So I am satisfied what I learned. So it's depend upon.
Okay.
I find like in a way, yani in general, there's this aspect of when you let go, there's a level of not being fair to yourself and the other person. You're not being fair. Even, like I feel like the discussion and then figuring it out, even if at the end they decide to not continue, at least you resolve it with fairness for both.
Right. You're not leaving this yucky feeling on both sides, right? The person who verbalized, who's probably doesn't know how to verbalize politely or well, or somebody who's frustrated with themselves, right? And the person who was attacked. So in the end, we're just leaving this ugh. So there's a difference between forgiving. I can samah, I can let it go. I cannot let it attack me, but it doesn't mean I cannot resolve, right?
Yes.
So that's a whole nother workshop, how to paraphrase and things like that. But noticing, so going back and saying, you know what? I noticed that you felt very frustrated with, I don't know, this letter that you can't pronounce or whatever the situation is. There's a lot, but right? I'm wondering how I could help you better. Or it doesn't even have to go that far, but recognizing and validating that person's emotions or that person's upset. I noticed that so-and-so, when they make fun of you, it's hurtful. So if a child is teasing somebody else, right, or a teacher is attacking a student or a student is attacking a teacher, recognizing that and acknowledging it gives power. Okay. All right, let's go back.
So, Miss Silwan, you believe it's better to actually talk about the problem and find the reason and the solution better than letting go
Yes.
for every problem, small or big?
Yes. At this stage, yes. Not
Right.
everything has to be a whole, issue, but let's come back to that. I'm going to teach you how to avoid having huge, long conversations, but just hold on to that. Okay? Is that okay?
What should be the best? What should be the best to in between letting go and solving the conflicts? What should be the best?
What should be the best? I didn't understand.
Which option is more appropriate if you're handling conflicts or whether you're letting it go?
So I'm going to ask you to hold on to that, and then we'll come back to it.
All right.
If I don't answer it by the end of the workshop, we'll come back to it.
All right. Thank you.
So those two types of discipline, right? External controls, I'm just going to put it out there. We slow down when we see the police. That's an external control. If we're speeding when he's not there, then that means it's not something we believe in intrinsically, right? Me getting somewhere at whatever speed is more important than is just more important to me than following the speed limit. Right? That's something based on an external control. And that's a light example, but it's so that the point can get through. Whereas internal controls, right? These kids know how to walk safely and they believe that it's important. Okay, so they're in a straight line. Yes, they have somebody supporting them, but this is something that is intrinsic. So these are internal controls. Which one is more powerful?
Internal control.
One teaches skills.
Internal control.
Internal control.
Internal controls. Does it
Internal.
take longer? Absolutely. Is it lasting? Yes.
Yes.
So when we have these beliefs, okay, when we believe that connection and teaching skills or giving love, those are the two things. So if you come out with nothing else from this workshop, whenever you are dealing with a conflict, remember, this child or yourself, maybe you don't know what to do. You are either in need of skills or love. And love here means to be noticed. And I'm going to talk about how to be noticed. But those are the two things, right? When we have those two things, then we believe that the only person that you can make change is yourself. Okay? Relationships govern behavior. If I trust somebody or I believe in somebody, then I am more willing to take, if I'm connected, to take from that person. And we all have people in our lives that can tell us, two people, right, can tell you exactly the same thing. Okay? One person you're going to take it from, and one person you're absolutely not going to take it from. And mistakes are opportunities to grow. So when somebody makes a mistake, we say, oops, you made a mistake. And life goes on. We fix it, etc., but we don't dwell on it. Okay? Again, we have to learn to discipline ourselves first and then help others. If I am not able to be composed, if I am not able to access a certain set of skills, then I can't teach other people. Okay? So we already had our break, sorry. All right, you will discipline as you have been disciplined, unless you make a conscious effort to change. So let's say, for example, that you were punished every single time you did something wrong. Oh, sorry. Every single time you did something wrong, you were punished. Okay? Then you will punish your own children or you will punish your students. Unless you sit with yourself and you make a plan, right? And you have another set of tools. So you can want to change all you want, but if you don't have new strategies and practice and support, then we're always going to do the same thing. So give yourself grace and give yourself the opportunity to learn new things. All right, 3 mindset shifts. First of all, we want to make sure that we look at misbehavior as a call for help. Okay, and in the survey that you guys completed, a lot of people said sometimes. Okay, sometimes it's a call for help, and sometimes it's not. Okay, so let me give you a very simple example. So let's say a child, every time they want something from somebody, they push them. Or every time they get upset, they hit them. Okay. What does that mean? That means they don't know what else to do. You get to make it up. It could mean a lot of things, right? Could mean a lot of things, but we get to make it up. Later we will ask them, but we can just say, this child needs skills, or this child needs love. And so in either way, they need help and they need support. Okay? We want to shift from trying to change others to changing ourselves, and from trying to control others to connecting. Okay? There was a Sahabi, I don't know, I'm sure you guys all who know who it is, but he was walking in the village and he heard one of the youth, there was a group of youth just drunk, just, ridiculously drunk and screaming in the streets and making noise and I think singing. And the Sahaba saw this youth and he said to him, don't you think that your voice could be better used in reading the Quran? If we saw a group of youth, right, in the streets, drunk or high or whatever, what would we say? And what would we say about their parents? Would we see it as a call for help, or would we see it as kids that were not raised well? Okay, so how we approach something makes all the difference. Okay, I'm gonna skip through that.
Yeah, Sister Silvan, our timekeeper said time for break.
Okay.
Just a small note.
Yeah, we came back at 10:10, so can we go to 11 and then go from 11 to 11:10?
Okay, that's for Aziza. Please keep the clock. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. Okay. So again, what we say to kids becomes their inner speech. And I want to add something. I don't have the slide, but just because I think it's very important. Children learn more about behavior and communication from how their parents communicate than how they are communicated with. And you can look up the science in that. So again, children learn more from how they see their parents communicate than how they are treated. Okay, I'm also going to skip through this, but the reason I wanted to show this video was I wanted you to understand that as kids come to your classroom, okay, they come in with a lot. So the simplest thing is the yalla, yalla, yalla to get in the car to get to school on time, right? I'm sure 90% of you know that yalla stress, right? So they're coming in with that stress. Kids that are disciplined in a harsh way, or kids that are disciplined in a passive way, right, come with a lot of brain trauma. And I can send you this video, right? But what this video shows is the gaps of connection from kids that are spanked, from kids that have trauma. So think about all of that as you have these kids in your classroom that just can't handle the structure. Okay. I want to skip to the brain, but basically when we talk about conscious discipline, which is the umbrella of this program, we're talking about different powers. Okay? So when we talk about what we're going to focus on today is perception, right? The concept is nobody can make you angry without your permission. So you are in charge of your feelings. You are in charge of how you react to certain things. And that's what we want to teach our kids. Okay? You as an adult, if you have that power, okay, then you can have the skills to teach the children, and then the structures and the routines in the classroom to practice. And we'll get into more detail about them. Okay. No one can make me angry without my permission. Right? So we've got our nice little cat here, and then that lion that's about to roar. Okay. How do we get to the person we want to be? How do we become that person that, that we are when we're in a relaxed state? Is to pause before we react, right? So we want to respond and not react. So a child hits another child. Of course, you're going to go into the classroom, or you're going to approach them and you're going to separate them. But before you let it out, right? Or before you even say, oh, Malish, it's okay, it's not a big deal, right? Pause. And remember, both of these kids need skills and love. and then to respond.
Oh.
All right, our perception of events generates our emotions, not the events themselves. Okay, so how I view something, that is going to affect my internal state. And then that's going to affect my behavior. Okay, so if I view these students as a wonderful group that are just so excited to learn, how am I going to feel? Amazing, and I'm going to be positive, right? If I'm like, oh my God, it's that group, there's always that group, right? And that group never changes, right? Oh, it's that group of spoiled kids, right? There are schools that we refer to, we're like, oh, that school has that kind of kids, and that school has that kind of, right? So if we come in with this perception, how is that going to affect our inner state and our energy? And then how is that going to reflect our behavior? The same thing at school. The kids know who the cool teacher is, right? The kids know who the strict teacher is. And if you just watch from the outside, you can see one group of kids behave one way in one classroom and another group of kids behave a totally different way in another classroom. So, excuse me, how we perceive things dictates how we feel, which dictates our behavior. Are we good with that? Okay. Do we really believe that behavior is communication? Okay, and then again in your survey, we had about, it wasn't even 50-50, more people that said, maybe, maybe it's communication. Okay, we're gonna skip through that. Okay, quickly. What is this child saying? Or how are you perceiving this child?
She's angry.
Okay,
She's
he's angry.
unhappy. She's sad.
If you're the mama that has to watch this, I mean, and I know
She
that's so
is angry.
Bored.
He's
He doesn't
happy.
like he doesn't like
happy.
doing attitude.
She don't want to do the thing which you're which you want to do to her.
We don't know, right? We have no idea. We get to make it up. So as somebody said before, what should we do? Ask. Notice. I'm just going to call him Yahya. He looks like a Yahya. Yahya, I noticed that your hands are like this. And your face is like this. And there's mud all over your shirt. What happened? Instead of, oh my God, really? You played in the mud. We're about to go outside. Who told you to do that? Right? But instead pausing and noticing and describing.
Something unfair happened to him, that's fine.
Right? We don't know what happened to him. Yeah. So we just ask, what happened? Okay, now these are babies. Disruption or communication?
Disruption.
It depends if you slept or not.
Communicate.
That's communication.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard you, those of you
communication.
that said disruption and corrected it. No, it's okay. It's okay. If you haven't slept, it's annoying.
I know.
What's up with this baby? How do we see him?
He's angry.
He's saying, I'm strong.
Listen to the
Maybe I'm
difference
gonna
in what
put
you
you-
both said. One person said angry when somebody said strong. Brother Jamal, I can't tell how many men we have here, but Brother Jamal, can you tell me, or the brothers, what do you see from this child?
He wants to show his strength. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Threatening.
Sorry?
He's threatening a friend or like somebody.
Stay away from me.
Okay. Look at the
Stay away
continuum.
from me.
Look at the continuum of your ideas. We don't know. No, we don't know. This could be a child that gets picked on every single day and he's had it, or it could be a child that picks on everybody. We don't know. So we can go to him and say, Yusuf, I know, like my name's right. Yusuf, I noticed that your fist is tight like this and your eyebrows are crunched in like this. Something happened? When I describe what I see, what am I doing?
You're
We are
validating.
just
Try to help
predicting.
them.
We are just predicting about the situation or the condition of a child.
Trying to connect.
So I'm
You're
connecting.
becoming
Trying to make him see himself, maybe.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm noticing. I'm not predicting what happened. I don't know. I'm putting that on him. If it's a child that's verbal, I'm going to put it on the student. Okay, if it's not, then I'm going to guess and we'll go back to that. I'm noticing. There's no judgment, and I'm not going to talk about any feelings. I'm just describing what I see. So that does two things. Number one, like you said, it helps me connect. It brings awareness to their body. Okay, have you ever been sitting somewhere and somebody's like, why do you look mad? Like, I'm not mad, right? And you don't even notice how you're sitting or what you're doing or what your face looks like. Okay, and some of us show our emotions very, very quickly, right? So noticing builds that connection. Okay, we'll do one more and then I'm going to skip on to How many of you said sassy? Or, oh, how rude.
Savage.
Wait,
Wait,
do you have boys or girls?
I have a girl and she's definitely a savage.
Okay, so
I would say let's measure whose tongue is gonna go stick farther.
Had to see girls are doing like this, especially boys do that.
She's
let's
copying.
listen to all of our judgments coming
Maybe
out.
copying.
Hmm?
Maybe copying someone did that.
Okay.
Response.
Okay, it's a little bit more merciful. But do you see how we share? As we're sharing, how all of our judgments come out, right? And I have a friend, one of my trainers, she's like, those are microaggressions, right? So.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that's a big word, right? But it's true.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I, we all know our triggers, and that's fine. We are human, right? We all have triggers.
I
Right?
noticed that is also the gender makes a difference. Like if it would have been a boy sticking a tongue at me and versus a girl, so many of us are saying savage or sassy and all those things. But if it would have been a boy, our reaction would be totally different.
Allahu A'lam, right? It goes back to our own, our
But
expectations.
then again, I'm sorry. But
No,
then
no,
again,
go
we're taking it personal. We shouldn't be taking any of that personal. This is the thing. Like, if I think it happened to me that one time, like a kid was like sticking a tongue in front of me to another kid. And I'm like, how should I handle it? And then the other one was like, I'm like, oh, what happened? So let's see that your tongue is sticking longer here. So what about you? Your tongue is sticking longer too. What about me? So we kind of opted out of it in a playful manner. But then, like I said, this is, maybe we shouldn't be doing that or something. I don't remember exactly, but I think we had like a playful moment with it. But we shouldn't be taking it.
Exactly, brilliant. But we want to notice, right? We want to notice and say, I noticed that your tongue is sticking out. I noticed that you're looking directly at Aya. Something happened.
Yeah.
So noticing without judgment. So just in case there is something that happened, right? We can deal with it, and we can also give them an alternative behavior.
Yeah.
So if the child was saying something not nice, then we don't want to. Then when we say, "Oh, you said da. What you wanted was," and we'll talk about that right after the break. But then again, going on our gender, how we deal with different genders, and every culture does it differently, and the way we grow up does it. But what we don't want to say is, that's not nice for girls. That's not nice for boys. Okay, that we don't want to say that. We just tell them what the right thing to do is. Okay. Just like we say بالعربي, right? البنت العربية اللي متربية, or the girl that is not raised well, or the girl that's this, or this culture, that culture.
Yeah.
None of that is helpful. None of that is helpful. Describing what noticing and providing new skills is the path that we want to go on. Okay, I'm going to skip through these because we have our time.
It's
is going
11
fast.
now.
We're ready for a break, yeah? Okay. So we're going to take a 10-minute break as I promised. We will come back and we will go, I'll start just something very quickly, review, and then we will go into breakout rooms. Okay, we will start right at 11:10. Jazakallah khair. And put your questions in the chat box, please. And I put a link, if you can try it, make sure it works, to some handouts. It's not a slide-by-slide handout, but it should be just some general information.